Welcome to the Shift List. My name is Matt and I'm here with the Prius, except it's sexy now. So today we're going to show you everything you need to know about the new hot Prius. Now the first thing we'll cover is, what is this? Now the Prius is the de facto hybrid. You say hybrid and you think of Prius. It was one of the first pioneers along with, I believe, the Honda Insight. And it's always been kind of lame or boring or slow or just kind of frumpy looking. But now, after years of sales slowing down, they gave it sex appeal. But there's a couple different flavors that you can get your Prius in. Now you can get a normal Prius, which is a normal hybrid like we have here. You see it says HEV, not PHEV. And with the normal hybrid, you can get front-wheel drive as standard or all-wheel drive for an extra charge. Or, if you want to spend a little bit more money, you can get fully electric range with a plug-in hybrid, the Prius Prime. That'll get you almost 45 miles of electric range. The only downside is it only comes in front-wheel drive for the Prime. Whack. But let's talk engine and power. Whereas before you had a 1.8 liter, now you have a bigger 2-liter engine. And now it's making 196 horsepower with all-wheel drive. It drops down to 194 horsepower with front-wheel drive, but it's still way more than the 120 you got last gen. And torque, that's 140 pound-feet, which is up 20 from last gen, and 0 to 60 reflects that. Now it's like 7 seconds, whereas before it was 9, and I would say that is indeed hybrid reborn. Now we're going to talk fuel economy. It depends a lot on whether you get front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. It also depends on what size wheel you get. The smaller 17-inch wheel is going to get you the most MPG. If you go up to the larger 19-inch wheel, which is what we have here, you're going to get worse fuel economy. The max fuel economy you're going to get is the 17-inch wheel in front-wheel drive. That'll do about 57 MPG. With all-wheel drive, that'll drop it down to about 54, at least according to the EPA. That's both better than the Corolla hybrid that we tested. But what have we been getting this week? We're going to trip information, history, we've been doing just under 50, and that's been a lot of highway. I drove to Chicago and back last night, so this is probably artificially low for mixed conditions, but this is still pretty incredible fuel economy. And Toyota tried to inject some personality into the new Prius by putting little Easter eggs all over the car. There's 15 in total, and here are some that I found to varying degrees of cringiness. Under your hood, you have hybrid reborn, Prius, very cringy maybe. Up here, you've got Prius on your window. On the inside of your dash, you have a little shape of that sexy computer mouse that you call a car now. In your wireless charger, hashtag wireless charger. In your secret compartment, hashtag hidden compartment. Sorry, hidden compartment, not secret compartment. Up on your hashtag panoramic glass roof. And no one will ever notice this, but on your trunk release it says door handle, which I guess kind of it is, but it's more of a trunk release to me. And then of course, hybrid reborn, which is the slogan of the new Prius. But one of my favorite things about this new Prius, and apparently everyone else's too, is the fact that it's hot now. It looks the business. From the side, it looks like a sexy computer mouse, but up front, we have a nice sloped angle for the nose, boomerang headlights, very sharp, full LEDs as standard, you'll love to see it. Still some venting and grilling up front because it is a hybrid, does have an engine. Around the side, we have black gloss wheel arches around our 19-inch wheels. If we had all-wheel drive, it would say all-wheel drive right there in a little badge. But we've got black treatments for our windows, as well as our wing mirror, and we come around the side. I mean, yeah. Does that not look like the sexiest computer mouse you've ever seen? But take a look at this. We've got a nice little fang here on your lower trim. Rear windows, or rear door I should say, is in the window treatment. It's kind of a digi release, but this is your mechanical failsafe in case the battery ever dies. And then around back, we lose the split window. We just have one normal window, and we have a digital rear view mirror to help us with that. But we have a full width LED tail bar. We've got the Toyota logo, which is all black and very subtle now. And we've got some of this ribbing like we had in a Toyota Crown, limited trim, hybrid electric badge. Now, like I said, we don't get blue Toyota logos anymore. We now get this more teal pearl effect from the Beyond Zero generation of badging. Prius, bold all the way across, and of course, no exhaust. But now we're gonna step in, because I have to talk to you about this cockpit here. Now this is the same steering wheel and gauge cluster combo that we had in the BZ4X, and I hated it there. I'm gonna put the phone right in front of my eyes so you can see what I see. That's it. So I can't see anything on this screen, like literally at all. I can see maybe the speed, which is up here, and then my general fuel economy, which is kind of up here. So otherwise, I have to drop the steering wheel into my lap, which makes it really uncomfortable to drive. Now that being said, the Prius has always had kind of a funky dash. The gauge cluster has always kind of been in the middle. It's kind of like the Prius walked, so the Model 3 could run kind of thing with the center screen, or like in a Mini or whatever, but this just is not it, Chief. I do like the heated steering wheel. It's over here like normal, and your heated windshield wipers, but this is not it. Then let's talk about drive modes. You have this little tab down here, and you have like 3 different drive modes. You've got, well, I guess 4. So you've got Eco, Normal, Sport, and Custom. And it really doesn't change much of anything from a screen perspective. It shows up here, but it really doesn't change much of anything. Sport obviously gets the engine involved more, and then Eco gets the engine involved less. But you do have one more mode, and it's EV mode. And this is something we've seen in Toyotas and Lexuses for quite a few years now. It's an interesting button because it only works under like 26 miles an hour and at like 10 to maybe 20% throttle. So you can kind of see charge, Eco, and then there's a tab in the middle of Eco. And that is about, if you get above that, that's when the engine's going to kick in and it's going to kick you out of Eco mode. So is it useful? Maybe in parking lots. But there's some other fun things in your center console here. You have a Lexus LC style shifter, which we're actually seeing in pretty much everything now. And to its side, you have the hashtag wireless charger, which actually I haven't gotten to work once this week. So this is what it does. I put it in there and it just flashes orange at me. Turn it off, turn it back on. It shows green for a second, but then it recognizes that something's in here, and then it'll have me go into standby mode. I don't know. Anyway, you have this compartment up here, which is nice. I can put my sunglasses and wallet and stuff in here, but also it's removable. And you have a hidden compartment, and not just a hidden compartment, but a hashtag hidden compartment. So if you have contraband that you don't want the fuzz to see, put it in your hashtag hidden compartment. Although they'll know about it if they've watched the downshift video. And this new Prius is a lot more expensive than it was in the past, and you get a lot more nice stuff. You've got heated and cooled seats, 3 levels up front, which is very nice. You've also got a heated steering wheel, and it gets nice and warm. And we'll talk about it in the rear seats, but for an extra $1,000, you can option heated rear seats too. We just looked at the heated steering wheel button, and there's a button next to it that looks a little bit weird. This is your heated windshield, or heated windshield wipers. So there's some heating elements down there where the windshield wipers rest that heat up, so they won't get frozen and stuck to the windshield. So if you're in the snow, which we will be very soon here in December, you can press this, and you'll have full access to your windshield wipers. And then we're going to talk about the trunk. Now, we showed you earlier the door handle, the secret Easter egg here, but it is a powered trunk. It is powered only on the limited trim, which we have here. This is the top trim. And it also, unlike the RAV4 hybrid, has not just a close, but a close and lock function, which is quite nice. Now you do get a privacy cover, which is pretty clever. It kind of hinges in the middle, so it's easier to take off and store. But you look at your hatch here, and it's about 21 cubic feet of space. So it is not huge. It's still practical. It's still better than like a normal sedan trunk like you'd get in a Corolla hybrid or like a Model 3 or anything like that, but it is not huge. And the 21 cubic feet that you get here, that's more than you're gonna get in your Prius Prime. The plug-in is gonna take up even more trunk space with its bigger battery. So you've got a little cubby over here, and then you've got a cubby over here with something in it, and you do have some styrofoam extra storage and cubbies down here, but it is just generally not super big. But then I want to talk about your infotainment system, and it's great. It's huge. It's like 12.3 inches or whatever it is, and it's running the newest system. So that means you get things like wireless Apple CarPlay, you get wireless Android Auto, you get over-the-air updates, you get dual Bluetooth connections. I mean, it is really, really good. It doesn't give you any like quirks or anything super interesting, but as a system, it works perfectly fine. I've had no issues with the wireless connection. I've had no issues with any of the functionality. It all works pretty well. And then we'll check out the rear seats. Now we do, like I said, have that digital release door handle with our mechanical failsafe back here. And you get back here, I'm 6'1", I'll sit in here. Take a look at my knees. I've got an inch or two of knee room. Problem comes with headroom. I don't have so much headroom. Now, part of this is due to the fact that you have the bigger panoramic roof. It's an extra fee, but as far as it goes in the back here, it's actually not bad. If I was less tall, if I had less torso, I'd be pretty comfortable here. You don't get air vents, which I think is a bit of a miss, but you do get heated seats back here, which is like a $350 option. And you get some USB-C chargers back here. You get a map pocket. So ultimately, it's not bad here in the rear seats. And I want to talk about some roof things. Now you see you have your panoramic roof, or your, I should say, hashtag panoramic glass roof, which is an interesting panoramic roof because you do have this bar. This is for rollover safety, but it results in you having a shade for your front and your rear separately, which is kind of cool. This is a $1,000 option. You do get it standard on the Limited, but each of the panels gets a shade, which is pretty cool. But up front, we've seen this in a couple others. You get kind of the bubble dome light, which is kind of fun. And then you get a digital rear view camera. Now, like I said, this no longer has the split window in the back, so it is a little bit compromised for visibility, which is why they give you the digital rear view mirror. And I want to talk 360 camera. Now, the 360 camera is only available on a Limited trim. It's part of the Limited Premium Tony Stark package. It's like $1,100, but I think it's nice. I always love me a 360 camera. And it's one of those cool ones where you turn the wheel, you start to reverse, and the car goes away. But as you start to drive over stuff, it remembers what it's seen, and it will fill it in. And it's also got that underrated feature that I love where you go into drive and it keeps the camera on under like 10 miles an hour. This, again, is an underrated feature that I just love. So it is worth it. Now, I will say, throw it into park. Where's that button? Here. Press this button and you get the useless egg view, which again, complain about in all the Toyota Lexus videos. I don't know who this is helping. You can see the outside of the car, you can see underneath the car, or you can even change the color of the car. I like the yellow. The press car was yellow, and that is the coolest color to get your Prius in. And you see these buttons here? These are part of your Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, which is a very, very good system. We've tested it in a number of the Toyota Lexus products that we've done this year. The adaptive cruise, the active lane keep, the lane tracing, whatever they call it, it works really, really well. So this is a great system. And I want to talk about this ambient light because you get this strip across your dash and over here on the other side as well. And this is more, at least from an ambient light perspective, than we even got in the flagship Lexus TX. The only thing is, you get this nice LED bar, but as far as I can tell, I'm in settings, going to vehicle customize, lights. You would think this is where you adjust your ambient light. And I can't find it. Maybe I'm not a smart man, but I can't figure out a way to change the color of your ambient light. So somebody in the comments let me know, is blue the only color that you get for your ambient light in your Prius? And the last thing we'll talk about is the price and competitors. Now, the Prius now starts at $27,650. If you want all-wheel drive, you'll jump up to $29,000, so another $1,400-ish for all-wheel drive. That's not too bad. As tested, this thing is loaded out, though, at about $38,000. Now, if you want the plug-in version, which again is only going to be front-wheel drive, but you get that fully electric range, that starts at $32,675. Now, this kind of maybe competes against something like a Corolla Hybrid that we tested earlier this year, although this has way more sex appeal, better range, or better fuel economy, I should say. Does have that added benefit of being a plug-in if you want it, and it has a hatch, so I like it over that. Maybe if Honda makes a Civic Hybrid, or maybe their, old Insight that they've killed off. But at this price, you start to think about something like maybe a Tesla Model 3. So this will obviously do away with the fact that you don't have to worry about range anxiety, but even at this price, you're also starting to maybe consider more SUV, subcompact things like a Kia Niro or a Hyundai Kona. But regardless, let's grab the key and go for a drive and talk a little bit more about the driving experience. Into sport mode. 3, 2, 1. Sports launch in the Prius. Yes, speed and power indeed. And then a right-hander, we're on brakes. Regen, nice. Charging itself back up. Ooh, traction control. It does hold itself pretty well. I mean, it's not a sports car, it's not a sports Prius, but it does hold itself fairly well, and I'll take that. I mean, to be honest, I will take that. Okay, let's talk about it. Now this has the new generation hybrid system. This is Toyota's latest system. It's also got a bigger engine, so it's got like noticeably more power left in sport mode with the engine on, which I'm going to turn it off because it's really annoying sounding. It does feel genuinely kind of peppy and kind of quick. Now, is it super quick once you get past like, take away from a stoplight type speeds? No, not really, but it's still a Prius. And it's still getting like 50 mpg, so like what do you expect? But it's just good. It's really refined, it's really smooth. The transition between gas and electric is really, really good. This is probably the Toyota system, and I say this easily with full confidence, that this is probably the best hybrid system on the market. It's just It's reliable long-term, it's really smooth, it's really refined, and it's super, super efficient. I mean, to get like 50 mpg even on the highway, throwing itself into fully electric mode at highway speed, like, it just works really, really well. It works in a way that you don't even have to think about it. And then as far as the driving experience goes, it's pretty good. I mean, the only thing that I can complain about, I guess there's two things. One is the fact that with the new roofline and the sexy look, I do now have less headroom. But even still, sitting here, I have more headroom sitting here with my hat on than I do in like a Kia EV6. So with my melon boy on, I'm not hitting my nub at all, which is fantastic. I hate to hit my nub, as I think every man does. But anyway, the seating position is my biggest issue, and it's for this and this reason. This is an identity crisis of a screen because it's kind of a head-up display, it's kind of a gauge cluster. So what Toyota wants you to do, I think, is to put the steering wheel all the way down here in your lap, which makes it impossible to get in or out. I hit my knees on it, but then I can see the full screen. When I have it up here, where I want it, like it is in every other car, I can't see half the screen. I can see my speed still, and I can see my fuel economy, but I can't see any of like my driver assist stuff. I can't see my range for my fuel. I can't see my, like, I can't see half the stuff. You know, and I understand that with bigger digital instrument clusters, you lose some stuff, but this seems purposeful and just poorly done. But before I rant about that entirely, we are gonna hit this corner again. Because it's just good. This thing handles really well. It's really smooth, the damping is nice, and I just like it. I think it's a good time for the final thoughts. So those are the 21 things you need to know about the new Prius. And if you're interested in how this stacks up to other segment rivals and more context with the market, be sure to check out our Best and the Rest video on Downshift. We'll see you there. Thanks.